Okay, Judy, so we are working on adding the fourth to your riffs. Okay, now remember everything is relative to the root of the chord that you're playing at that time in this case. So, obviously there's a fourth in the key, and that's the chord we're playing, the four chord over that fourth scale degree. Okay, so in the key of D, when we're calling the fourth chord, it's the four chord with the fourth scale degree with the chord built on top of it. In this case, though, we're talking about playing the note that is the next note after the third in our riff. Okay, so if we go back to the riff we started last week or the week before, it ends up being this 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. Oh, actually, yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. Okay, and actually, I'll make it so you can see my hand. It becomes the D, the root. 1, 2, 3, root, minor third. That's your F right there. Okay, so the root is D, and the minor third is F. Okay, your major third would be that next note up. All right, so you got your root, minor third, major third. Now think about that major third for a second. When we talk about any major key, or any major key, any major scale, that third to the fourth right there is your usual half step to get to the fourth. So that's another way to remember it. Okay, so when you're trying to find the fourth from the major third, it's the next fret up. When you're finding it from the minor third, that minor third is a lowered third, so it's a whole step above it. Okay, and you'll get used to that. You'll just know that after a while. But the other way you can remember it is whenever you have the root on one string, you can find that perfect fourth just one string above it on the same fret. Okay, the only time that's different than that is when the root's on the third string, and there's an issue with the tuning of the strings. That's why that doesn't count. But I'm not going to have you do anything with the root on the third for a long time. So it's the same down here on the low string. If you want to find the fourth above the low G, you just move it to the C, one string up. Okay. If you want to find the root above the fourth above the root B flat here, then you would just move up a string. It's right down that next fret. Okay. So that eventually that will become sort of second nature. But for now, we're dealing with the root D, the minor third, and now we're going to add that fourth above it. Okay, so let's put all that into the riff that we learned before, and that's going to be that one that goes off of the D, 2, 3, root, minor third. Okay, and we also went down to the minor seventh. 1, 2, 3. I'll let you see my hand. Okay, we're only going to work on embellishing that minor third by adding the fourth as a neighbor note. Okay, so without the bass notes, without the low thumping bass notes, we're going to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. Okay, so it holds for the half note on that next part. You're actually going to play a bass note in between on the end of that, but it sounds like this again. Root, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. Wait, oh, shoot, I did that. I'm going to do that 100 times, I bet. Anyway, so let's add the bass note. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. There's your root note there, okay? So the thumb, we're going to get used to playing the thumb as a pulse the whole time. Again. Okay? One more time. Then if you wanted to add the second half of it, you'd go. So all together it would sound like this. Alright, and that's your riff. Okay, let's do the same thing on the G. This time we're putting the third finger G, and we're going to add the fourth, one whole step above that minor third. Okay, that's your whole riff together. If you want, I can isolate that a couple times. Let's just do the first half of the riff. Okay, one more time. and do the same thing on A. Okay, again on the A. Alright, now let's do the whole riff on A. And you would work on those just basically if you need to isolate the first half of the riff to get used to it, do that, and then put the whole riff together. I think it'll sound really nice. So what we've done is, before I added the fourth today, it was this skeleton of a riff that we can add things now. We can add passing notes, we can add neighbor notes, and embellish the existing skeleton of a riff any way we want. Okay, so we'll add slides, we'll add hammer-ons, that kind of stuff. But that's going to be the bulk of that part of your lesson. I would love for you to get it to the point where you can kind of play them in order, like you're going to play them in the blues form. If you don't get to that this week, it's no big deal. I know I'm going to see you on Monday anyway, but virtually. So it really just get used to it this week, no big deal. But obviously the progression would be to play the individual parts by themselves, and then get it to the point where you're playing them in a blues form, and then eventually playing them with the backing tracks, jam tracks. So that'll be that. Let's move on and do the pinch exercises and the slides and stuff. Okay. So ideally, what I want you to do with this is actually, hold on. I'm gonna go get that D blues thing so I can do it together.